So, hey, what's good? I hope all are well. So, I wanted to do a quick live. I hadn't been live in a long time. And I actually want to do a reading of the poem Tom Bombadil from 1934. And, it just kind of hit me. I'm in the middle of working on some content, so I'll just go through it. So, originally published in the Oxford magazine in 1934, this poem was later included in a poetry collection of the same title in 1962. Tolkien was inspired to create the character of Tom Bombadil by a Dutch doll belonging to his children, long before the Merry Fellow's inclusion in The Lord of the Rings. So, old Tom Bombadil was a merry fellow. Bright blue his jacket was, and his boots were yellow. Green were his girdle, and his breeches all of leather. He wore in his tall hat a swan wing feather. He lived up under hill, where the withy window ran from a grassy well down into the dingle. Old Tom in summertime walked about the meadows, gathering the buttercups, running after the shadows, tickling the bumblebees that buzzed among the flowers, sitting by the waterside for hours upon hours. There his beard dangled long down into the water. Up came Goldberry, the river woman's daughter, pulled Tom's hanging hair, and he went a wallowing under the water lilies, bumbling and a swallowing. Hey, Tom Bombadil, whither are you going? Said fair Goldberry. Bubbles you are blowing, frightening the finny fish and the brown water rat, startling the dab chicks and drowning your feather hat. You bring it back again. There's a pretty maiden, said Tom Bombadil. I do not care for waiting. Go down, sleep again where the pools are shady, far below willow roots, little water lady. Back to her mother's house in the deepest hollow swam young Goldberry, but Tom he would not follow. On knotted willow roots he sat in sunny weather, drying his yellow boots and his draggled feather. Up woke Willow Man, began upon his singing, sang Tom fast asleep under branches swinging, and a crack caught him tight, snicket close together, trapped Tom Bombadil, coat and hat and feather. Ha, Tom Bombadil, what be you a-thinking, peeping inside my tree, watching me a-drinking? Deep in my wooden house, tickling me with feather, dripping went down my face like a rainy weather. You let me out again, old man Willow. I am stiff lying here, there's no sort of pillow. Your hard, crooked roots, drink your river water, go back to sleep again, like the river daughter. Willow Man let him loose when he heard him speaking, locked fast his wooden house, muttering and creaking, whispering inside the tree, out from Willow Dingle. Tom went walking on up the withy window. Under the forest eaves he sat a while a-listening. On the boughs piping birds were chirping and whistling. Butterflies about his head went quivering and winking, until great clouds came up as the sun was sinking. Then Tom hurried on, rain began to shiver, round rings spattering in the running river. A wind blew, shaking leaves, chilly drops were dripping. Into a sheltering hold old Tom went skipping. Out came Badger Brock with his snowy forehead and his dark blinking eyes. In the hill he quarried. With his wife and many sons by the coast they caught him, pulled him inside their earth, down their tunnels brought him. Inside their secret house, there they sat a-mumbling. Ho, Tom Bombadil, where have you come tumbling? Bursting in the front door, Badger folk have caught you. You'll never find it out, the way that we have brought you. Excuse me. Now, old Badger Brock, do you hear me talking? You show me out as once, I must be a walking. Show me to your back door under briar roses, then clean grimy paws, wipe your earthy noses. Go back to sleep again on your go back to sleep again on your straw pillow, like Fair Goldberry and Old Man Willow. Then all the Badger folk said, we beg your pardon. They showed Tom out again to their thorny garden, went back and hid themselves, a shivering and a shaking, blocked up all their doors, earth together raking. Rain had passed, the sky was clear, and in the summer gloaming, old Tom Bombadil laughed as he came homing, unlocked his door again and opened up a shutter. In the kitchen round the lamp's moths began to flutter. Tom through the window saw waking stars come winking, and the new slender moon early westward sinking. Dark came under hill, Tommy lit a candle. Upstairs creaking went, turned the door a handle. Ho, Tom Bombadil, look what night has brought you. I'm here behind the door. Now at last I've caught you. You'd forgotten Barrow White, dwelling in the old mound, up there on hilltop, with the rivers of stones round. He's got loose again, under earth he'll take you. Poor Tom Bombadil, pale and cold he'll make you. Go out, shut the door, and never come back after. Take away gleaming eyes, take your hollow laughter. Go back to grassy mound on your stony pillow. Lay down your bony head like Old Man Willow. Like young Goldberry and Badger folk and Borrow. Go back to buried gold and forgotten sorrow. Out fled Barrow White, through the window leaping, through the yard, over wall like shadow sweeping, uphill wailing, went back to leaning stone rings, back under lonely mound, rattling his bone rings. Old Tom Bombadil lay upon his pillow, sweeter than Goldberry, quieter than the willow, snugger than the Badger folk or the Barrow dwellers, slept like a humming top, snored like a bellows. He woke in morning light, whistled like a starling, sang, come dairy doll, merry doll, my darling. He clapped on his battered hat, boots and coat and feather, opened the window wide to the sunny weather. Wise old Bombadil, he was a wary fellow, bright blue his jacket was, and his boots were yellow. None ever caught old Tom in upland or in dingle, walking the forest paths, or by the withy window, or out on the lily pools and boat upon the water. But one day Tom he went and caught the river daughter, in green gown flowing hair, sitting in the rushes, singing old water songs to birds upon the bushes. He caught her, held her fast. Water rats went scuttering, reeds hissed, herons cried, and her heart was fluttering. Said Tom Bombadil, here's my pretty maiden, you shall come home with me. The table is all laden, yellow cream, honey comb, white bread and butter, roses at the windowsill and peeping round the shutter. You shall come home under hill, never mind your mother. In her deep weedy pool, there you'll find no lover. Old Tom Bombadil had a merry wedding, crowned all with buttercups, hat and feather shedding. His bride with forget-me-nots and flag lilies for garland was robed all in silver green. He sang like a starling, hummed like a honey bee, lilted to the fiddle, clasping his river maid round her slender middle. Lamps gleamed within his house, and white was the bedding. In the bright honey moon, Badger folk came treading, danced down under hill, and Old Man Willow tapped at window pane as they slept on the pillow. On the bank in the reeds, river woman sighing, heard all Barrow White and his mound crying. Old Tom Bombadil heeded not the voices, taps, knocks, dancing feet, all the nightly noises. Slept till the sun arose, then sang like a starling. Hey, come, dairy doll, merry doll, my darling. Sitting on the doorstep, chopping sticks of willow, while fair Goldberry combed her tresses yellow. So, yeah, that was the original poem, Tom Bombadil. That was just I read that straight through, didn't prepare. And I wanted to do that because I'm actually working on something around that. And so I just figured I'd give it a go. I think outside of that, I wanted to say like a Happy New Year. May God's blessings come upon you in this year and bless you and your families. Outside of that, I have a few different things that I was working on. I have some stuff with LOTR that I didn't really do anything with. Then I had the projects that I had said I was going to do for Christmas. And I had decided I really wanted to do a better job than was possible with the time I had been allotted. So that was mainly the main reason for shelving them. And just thinking what other kind of things just off the top that I was thinking about. Not too much. I think I'm going to leave it there, especially since I want to do some content. So thanks so much. Later.